So I just noticed something with my GX2. It's feeling a little rough, not as smooth when I'm reeling in. Kind of hard to reel in, harder than normal. So I noticed the bail here has a lot of side-to-side play. You can see how much that is. That is a lot of movement. I have another ugly stick, and the other one does not move like this. So let's see what's going on. Let's take this off. Unscrew it all the way and see. Okay, let's slide this off. That looks very dirty. Very dirty. I will definitely clean it up a bit. I'm sure it affects the performance somehow. But let's see what's going on here. You can see right there that nut has a lot of play. It is not fully tightened. I could move it with my finger, and I'm almost wondering if it wasn't installed correctly from the factory, because that screw right there stops it from spinning. So it looks like I have to remove that screw, tighten the nut down, and then reinstall the screw. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this up here, remove these. Try to remember what order they went in. It's also part of the reason why I'm making this video. Okay, so we got the clear washer here. We got the washer with teeth on it. And then we have a solid washer. And these look dirty. And I'm pretty sure this disc right here, this clear one, kind of acts as like a clutch, or it probably is called a clutch. I'm not 100% sure how this works. I'm still learning, but I am gonna clean it up because it is very dirty. Going to clean all this up and oil it. See, the napkin's kind of dirty there. Okay. Try to clean in here. Before we go any further, let's clean in there. Dirty it's getting. Balanced rotor, huh? Balanced rotor. Okay. This thing has 4 bearings in it, which is not bad at all. It's not great. It doesn't feel like my 7 bearing, and it's probably not going to feel like your 10 bearing, but it's not terrible either. Everything. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it from the rod. Kind of crazy if they did that from the factory. That's a pretty crazy mistake to make, but I guess if you're mass producing them so fast, it happens. I don't remember how long I've had it. I don't know if it's still under warranty or not, but this would definitely qualify as a defective, in my opinion. I don't know. Okay, no. We might as well take it apart more, and hopefully I could get it back together and not destroy it like I did the Fluger Tryon. Okay, this is oh, okay, that gets tight counterclockwise. I still feel just a little bit of play, but it's not as bad as it was. I'm still taking it apart. So I'm gonna go clockwise to loosen it. Made in China sticker in there. Okay. So, okay. There we go. So that removes this bail part here. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this out. It doesn't look very dirty. And it's pretty surprising because I've used it for a good 4 years at least now. Maybe a little longer, maybe 5 years. Not every single day, but I say I've probably used it at least 100 times. Wonder what's in there. Don't really care to find out. I don't want to tear it down that much. It's gonna be a pain getting it back together for no reason if it's pretty clean in here. I'm just gonna oil it up, slap it back together. Very, very cool. Bearings in there, very nice. See, these bearings look pretty decent. Let's see, is there play? There is a little bit of play. Of course, it's a little worn down. We got a little play. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off here, pop it off, see how the gears and stuff in there look like. Let's see this here. Need a longer bit for that. Okay. Let's take off this handle. This handle's getting in my way. I have to come off anyway. Let's see. Very long screw. Got the wrong bit. Looks like I don't have a proper bit for this. I'm just gonna go ahead and use a damn screwdriver. Reveal the hidden screw. That one's stripped out probably. What's going on here? Flathead. Okay, so I'm gonna use the flathead on that one and these. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like there's a specific way this goes in. There's a slot cut out in here. And then there's the key side on that one. That fits in there, you can see. The key there. And then slot. Okay. This bearing feels very good. I honestly don't feel any play in the bearing. The bearing feels great actually. Let's see. Yeah, actually there is play. Very, very minor play. You can't even, you could almost not even see it, but you could definitely feel a little bit. But what there is play in is this whole thing here. The whole part. Okay. I'm just gonna oil this bearing. I should probably put grease on there, but I'm just gonna oil it up. I know Lucas Oil sells nice real oil. This thing is lacking some grease on here. But it looks very nice, very good. It's honestly a similar design to my Fluger, which is supposed to be a lot better quality. And I mean, it was good while I had it. While it lasted, it was really good. Right until I took it apart and probably messed it up. But who knows? It already felt a little rough when I was reeling it. And it was just so worn out. And this feels very tight, not bad. Okay. I'm sure most of these are very similar anyway. Okay, this bearing in here looks very dry. And there's this washer that sits over it. So I gotta remember that. There's a washer that sits over it. And this is set up almost exactly like my Fluger was. Okay. Yep. That looks very similar. I broke these teeth on my Fluger after reinstalling it and reeling it. And you see there's still a decent amount of grease. Of course, it's not on the gears anymore, probably just from turning so many times it got off the actual gears. But I'm just gonna go ahead and grab that little blob of grease and pack it back on there. Very nice. Everything looks great in here, to be honest. There's bearing on the other side here. Let's see, is there a washer on this side too? I think so. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little oil on them and put everything back together. It looks very clean, very nice. It's crazy. It's got a lot of wear on it. Or not really wear, but I've used it a lot. And it looks like new. The gears look great. Everything looks good in here. For how cheap it is, it's hard to go wrong with this. I know grease is recommended for in here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a couple drops. Can't hurt, right? Can't hurt to get a couple drops in there. Move some of this grease on here, rub it up against the gear. Okay, now let's put it back together. Put some on this bearing here, a little oil. There's probably somebody out there screaming at the phone or TV right now, but we're just gonna put it back together like that. I know you probably should be using some type of special marine grease, real grease. And slowly put it back in here. Wiggle it into place. Okay, very nice. And you really should be using the actual grease and oils that are made for reels. But I don't think it's gonna have any ill effects if it's dry and you add a little oil in there. But that's just me. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Put a little oil on here. Rub some of that grease on there. Almost forgot to put some oil on this bearing here. It's very cool how this thing only spins one way. You can spin it this way, but you can't spin it the other way. It's a one-way bearing, just like my Fluger had, Fluger Tryon, just like a lot of others have, I'm sure. You got the one-way bearing in there. Turn one way, but not the other. You also have this in transmissions in cars. A lot of automatic transmissions, they have this in them. I think they call it a sprag or something like that. It's basically a one-way bearing. Alright, let's put it in here. Very nice. Uh-oh. Feel something binding up. Oh boy. Hopefully this doesn't turn into the Fluger again. I just took the Fluger apart and I put it back together and I messed up the gear somehow. They got stuck and they broke off. One of them broke off. Oh boy. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with it until I have that other piece on there, so I can know for sure if I did something wrong. I'll go back in and try to fix it. I'll give it a little wipe down. It's kind of dirty. Inside there is dirty. Some dirt in there. Go ahead and try to wipe it down a little bit. ahead and put that washer on here. Okay, this goes like that. Okay, so it's in. Oh boy, what is going on? So I'm having trouble with it again, getting jammed up. I don't know why it's stuck. So I'm learning with you guys. You guys are gonna learn from my mistakes. Maybe I should have just never taken this one apart either. Okay, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Okay, let's see here. Oh, I see what happened. This came off of that. This little pin here that sticks out that I'm pointing at, goes behind here. There is a slot in here, and this goes over that. Okay, so let's remove this. Let's remove that. Let's get this. Okay. Yep. So I have to be way over there probably to get in there. Since I don't want to take this little screw out. Okay, let me spin it down towards that way. Okay, see the pins over here now, towards the bottom? Now I'm gonna try to snake it up in here. There we go. Now it is in its slot. Is it? Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna have to hold it down while I do this. Okay. So you gotta keep holding it down so it wants to pop off. Let me take this off so that weight is making it wanna, it's like you're pressing down with the gear installed in the front, and it wants to pop off of there. Okay. Let's put this here. So let's hold this upward like that while we install this. Now we shouldn't have an issue. Let's see. Okay, that feels good. Nice and smooth. Okay, so it's got bearing on that side, bearing on this side. Now I don't remember where this bearing went. Here? Yeah, that looks right. Okay. It's one of the smaller screws. Okay. Just very gently tighten them up. Okay, just to make sure everything still feels good and normal, and it does. All right. Now let's get this back on there. It's ready to go. Something like this. Turn that slot like that. There we go. You don't want to over tighten these. They're fragile plastic parts, it's plastic thread. I'm pretty sure. Very small screws anyway. You don't want to strip the threads out. Okay. Everything is nice and snug. All right. A little cap and a very short screw. Can't remember which one of these short ones went here and went up here on the bail. That was not letting me tighten the nut fully. I don't even see what this hole screws into on here. It's kind of crazy. I think it may just stop in here. This little groove here, it might just stop in there. I don't know. I don't see any holes. Interesting. It drops in there. Okay. Just try the shortest one down here. I think that's where that went. Let's see. If it works, it works. Okay, I don't feel it catching very well, so I think this one might be in the wrong spot. Let's see. This one's just slightly longer. Oh yeah. That one's in there. Nice and tight. And this one's only Phillips, and the one that goes under here is Phillips only. All the rest of them you can use a flathead on. Let's put our bail on. But before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little, see what moves in here. I'll put a little oil in here. Not that it really needs it, but just put a little oil everywhere. Take a very small screw and let's put it in there. So like a two-hand job here. Let's see. Let's flip it this way. What a pain. Okay, let's see what's going on with this. Clean it out. Kind of feel like popping this off. It's not actually that bad, but it was kind of gritty. What is this? It's like paper in here. Huh. Are all wheels like this, or is this one just weird like that? It's like some paper. Oh. So this is what I just pulled out of here is two type of washers here. I think these are the clutches actually. It's like a cloth, and then this, and then there's another cloth. This kind of seems like a clutch. Let's take them all out. Gotta remember which order they went in. Okay, so I'm setting everything up here so I don't forget which way they came out. So it was the cloth with the washer with two things on the sides like that. And this one was the very first one. Just setting everything up. Then these two came out. It's just a normal round one, and this. Now, got more in here. Just a cloth one, it looks like. And that's it. Okay, that wasn't that complicated. I was expecting it to be very complicated. Thankfully it wasn't. I'm gonna give everything a really good cleaning. Make sure there's no dirt in there. Okay. Alright, let's reassemble. Maybe this is where they save some cost. Because this cloth thing looks kind of cheap, honestly. If you're using that as like a clutch type of thing. Okay, for that one. And this one goes next, just a normal round one again. Clean it up. Oh, okay, I gotta make sure that they are lined up, because they are not lined up right now. Maybe I could line them up once they're in there. There we go. Now you can see straight through. This seems to be the most worn out looking one. First one. Spring that holds everything in place. Sure they're all in there pretty good. Sure they doesn't pop off on us. Okay. Looks good. I almost forgot. This screw can't be on. I almost made the same mistake they made from the factory. Okay. Where does this go? I'm looking at which way this goes, and this side of the nut does not have any scratches, and this side on the bottom I can see some scratching, so I know this was rubbing on here when it was installed. Remember, these are reverse thread, so counterclockwise actually tightens it. Now you don't want to break it, just get it on there snug. Try to get the flat spot where your little screw's gonna go so it doesn't interfere. If you get a corner on there, it's not gonna go in. Let's see if I can get it in by hand this time. It almost seems like it's just made so the nut doesn't loosen up over time, because it doesn't really screw to anything besides this. It's basically a locking screw for that nut. Okay. Get our reel in there. Get our... This is dirty. I don't know what's in here. Might as well go ahead and take a look. Why not? Let's see what's in here. Need a smaller screwdriver. Oh, just a little clicker thingy and a gear. It's basically just to make sound. It looks like this little springy steel thingy here rubs up against this gear here and makes a clicking sound, I guess. Let's put a little oil on this too, just because why not? Let's see what's here. Let's pull this out of here. This is like a spring, I believe. What is this? It's got grease on it. Yeah, it's just like a little spring in here. You got some grease on it. Let's oil this up in here. Pop that back in there. Put a little grease here too, why not? Put a little oil. Why not keep it from rusting? Okay, something doesn't seem right here. Seems like it's not flush. Maybe this goes this way. Maybe there's a slight curve to it. Yeah, there is a slight curve to this. It's not 100% flat. I don't know if that's how it's designed or it got bent somehow. Let's try to put it this way. Let's see. Like that. Okay. This seems to be a little bit of a better fit, where the middle is kind of upward. Like if you draw a straight line between both of these, it's kind of upward, and these sides are more downward, and it's raised up here in the middle between the two holes. Okay. We'll find out if it's the right or wrong way in a minute. Alrighty. That looks good, that looks good, and I almost forgot. I gotta install these here. So I gotta take the bail or the spool back off. Okay, so if I remember correctly, it was this steel flat one. Then it was this gear shaped one. Then it was this plastic washer. A little bit of a tight fit on the washer. Okay. Let's get the spool back on. Alrighty. Making clicking noise already. Let's get this back on here. Okay. Let's put our handle back on. Come on the other side and put our screw. It does feel a lot smoother, I'm not gonna lie. That feels much, much better. Very nice. Sure everything looks good, and it does. See a little bit here. Just give it a little. Oh yeah. Bad at all. And of course, this thing's got some wear on it. Let's see our play now. It's still got some, but it is nowhere near as bad as it was. Now I'm gonna go ahead and mess with this bail. I wasn't gonna do it, but now I might as well. I'm gonna remove this screw here, this one here. Let's see what happens. Let's see what's in here. These are pretty tight on there, surprisingly. Let's see here. Let's see what happens. Hopefully no spring shoots out at me. Let's see. This one, okay. And so there's just pretty much nothing here, just very dirty. I am gonna wash this out. I'll just use a towel on there, a paper towel. Let's see here. This side. I know this one's gonna be dirty. I could already feel the grittiness. Let's see. Oh, there's a spring there. Okay. It's actually not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and oil it up, and then I'll figure out how to put it back together. Looks a little complex, to be honest. Maybe it just slaps back on there. I don't know. Okay. this in there. Screw it here. Let's see. Big chunk of trash in there. Okay, good. There's a little bearing here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off too. Might as well get in there, clean it out, and oil it. The screw was already loose. I'm glad I checked it. I'm glad I decided to remove it. Okay, there's like a little washer type deal here. Another plastic washer here. Then we have, what is this, bearing? I don't really think this is more of a bushing than a bearing. And we have this plastic bit here that comes off. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean all of this and slap it back together. The bottom side has a deeper groove, and the top part is more flush. Okay, clean it up real nice. Very glad I decided to take that off because that was very loose. It was only a matter of time before it came off. That would have been a bad day fishing. I don't even know if they sell parts for this. It's so cheap that you just buy another one, honestly. But why if you don't have to? Especially if you're on a budget like me. Fishing's one of the only things where you could be very broke, very poor, and still fish. Or you could be super rich and fish. It's as cheap or as expensive. Here, that bushing came out of there, that bronze piece. It's as cheap or as expensive as you want it to be, or as you could afford. You could be on a huge yacht fishing somewhere on a lake. Like, I live near Chicago, so you could be out there on Lake Michigan on a yacht, on $1 million yacht. Or you could be a homeless guy pretty much trying to catch something to eat. Fishing from the pier or from a dock somewhere, on a pond, a park. Okay, so it was dirty and loose, and here we go. It's as good as it's gonna get. forgot a part. For oil. Plastic part. This. Okay, so my phone had died, but this is how the spring mechanism goes on the bale. Hopefully it doesn't shoot out of there. Okay, so you see this slot in here? This big gap here, big kind of half moon here. This rod that doesn't have the spring goes in there. This rod, the one without the spring, that goes down into here, is the one that goes in that slot. This one. And then this one with the spring, it's kind of hard to get it in there because it's got to stay upright. Maybe putting a little grease will help it stay upright. But this one with the spring goes into this little hole here next to the half moon. And that is how the spring is set up. I got those rods like that. Here we are. Feels great, feels like new. I've had other reels where if you leave the lever like that, well, this one falls down on its own a little bit, but then they'll like shoot straight down if you leave it up here. You gotta shake it a little bit. There it goes. Of course, this one's not very high quality, super great bearings, millions of them everywhere, but it's not bad at all, especially for what you're paying. And I haven't managed to break it, and I've been very hard on it for years, which is typical ugly stick. So this is I'm just gonna call it a 4-year review. It might be a little more than that, but I'm just gonna stick to that. I highly recommend it. Go get one. You can't go wrong with it, especially if you're hard on the gear and you don't want to break a $300, $400, $500 setup.